have a special number I want to give to God. Oh, Kaka. Oh, Kaka. Is it Ijebube? Adi Jurenigwe Jurua Odigonye Ginaya Nachi Ese Nigwe Rabo Sharabada Odigonye Ginaya Nachi Nenuma Okaka Okaka Ese Ijebube Adi Jurenigwe
Thank you, Lord.
Amen. Amen. By the special grace of God, my names are Pastor Samson Uchenna. Standing by my side is my African queen, my angel, in person of Cynthia Uchenna. And besides me are my beautiful princesses. I have my first, Emanuela Uchenna. I have the younger kid sister, Divine Favor Uchenna. And I have the master of the ceremony in person of King David Chukwuemeka Uchenna. Celebrate Jesus. I want to talk about the genealogy of the name. I want to talk a little bit about it, and I want to encourage a lot of us here. And I want to tell you that you are actually in the right place. Let me start by letting us know this. In every naming, in every child dedication I've been having, myself and my family, I've never spoken before. My wife has been doing the talking. But today I count it a privilege to speak because I want to appreciate the God of Dr. O.C. Emmanuel. Help me celebrate that God. God has been faithful to me and my family. We've never asked for children. We've never. As a prayer point, we've never. The first daughter, by His grace, God gave me a wonderful daughter. And then the second daughter. But when it came to this boy, I think at a point I started praying. I said, God, well, I'm not trying to be particular, but I think I need a baby boy at this point. And I could remember vividly, just almost as if our daddy in the Lord heard that prayer point. I'm very sure the Lord would have spoken to him concerning that. And he just saw me in one of those church services and he said, son, I want to pray for yourself and your wife the next Sunday. The reason he didn't tell me. But while he was praying, he said, the Lord is saying I should go to the altar and tell him he has heard my request. I should tell God specifically the sex of the baby I want. In fact, he was specific. He said, tell God the name of your child is Chukwuemeka. And I was like, how did he even get to know? Because I'm sure Chukwuemeka is not a name for a female gender. And I was like, God, you've already heard my prayers. And as God may have it, that same month, my wife missed her period. And while we were in the journey, I was just trusting God and believing God. I think we had, I wanted to know I was not getting worried kind of, although I know God has spoken. So I was particular to get to know the gender of the child. In all the tests we did, we couldn't see the sex of the baby. But I was not worried because I know one thing. I'm a son of a prophet. And besides, the prophet have spoken. Elijah, one of our time. And I keyed in by faith. I said, God, even if the enemies decide to bring woman this time, for the first time I'm praying concerning this prayer point, let this one be a king. And David, as your servant, have spoken. And while we are still trusting God, the 7th month, please, I want us to listen to this very well. Anytime the devil is trying to deprive you of coming to church, watch out. There is something the enemy is trying to stop. See, listen. we prepared, we were getting ready for the next Sunday service. And you can imagine, all of a sudden, my dry cleaner disappointed me. I couldn't get the clothes I'm supposed to use for church the next day. Okay, I now resolved to, okay, let me possibly maybe make an alternative arrangement. There was no NEPA light. I have a pressing iron that you can use with even generator. But to my surprise, I tried turning on my generator. The generator disappointed me. And I called my wife. I said, you know what, there? It's like we'll leave church for today, maybe some other Sunday. She said it is not possible that I can decide to stay back with my children, that but for her, she's going to church. My dear, listen to me, children of God. And as God may have it, I was like, how can I wear a cloth that is not kept to church? It's not proper. And with the status, and everybody knows me close to my father, it's somehow. So I made up my mind that I'm not going to come to church. But God gave me a wife that is a virtuous woman. She could read the handwriting on the wall. She knew the devil was at work. But before then, I think 3-4 days before that particular incident, she's been complaining that she has been having some funny symptoms. As in, at times it will come like as if the child is not really kicking properly. But each time she said it, I said, don't make such negative confession. Because one thing I know is, God has spoken from the first day, and his word must come to pass. And as she managed herself to the church, the God's servant was praying for people, and fortunately ran into her. And suddenly, the Lord spoke to his servant, to my wife, and he started praying. The demon started confessing. I was not in church, but I was privileged to watch that confession. You need to hear the demon confessing and saying, she will not allow my child have this baby boy. And the reason is not far-fetched. The demon himself knows that the father is a lion, and of course must give birth to a lion. Because one thing I told God, even the day I was dedicating this child before his birth, I said, God, give me a prophet that is a king too. And the devil knew what the Lord will use this particular child to do. And the devil was fighting tooth and nail to make sure this child wouldn't come. At the 7th month, and our daddy in the Lord prayed for her. After the prayer, she called me on phone and said, I need to see what happened to her in church today. So immediately she came back home. Remember I told you that on 4 occasions we've tried to know the gender, the sex of the baby. We couldn't. So immediately she came back home. Something just told me.
You went to scan.
We've been doing scan. 4 good consecutive
times. The scan cannot see the sex.
4 good consecutive times. We couldn't see the sex. 4 good consecutive times. And when she immediately after the prayer, she came back home that day, and I just felt like, let's repeat the scan. On getting to the hospital, the scan, first of all, because yes, at the 7th month, I remember, the 6th month, she went to the hospital. The doctor said the baby is breech. I said it's not possible. This is a baby we've been following. Apart from the gender we couldn't see then, the baby was perfectly staying well. How come the 6th month the baby is now breech? But after the prayers of the man of God, she went to test that 7th month. The baby was confirmed well positioned, and the gender of the baby was well exposed. The doctor called me, because the doctor is as well my friend. He called me and he said, Uche, you can look at this now. This is a boy. Look at it. It's a boy. And I said, God,
and that was for the first time.
For the first time.
After the deliverance.
After the 5th.
And you're just watching like that.
So the devil knew he has lost the battle. And fortunately enough for us, that same Sunday, like I said, in my house is a routine. No matter what the devil does, we know all his tricks. So even if he's trying to prevent us from going to church, we must find our way to church. So that Sunday, we prepared for service as usual. And I was trying to put the kids into the car. She said she's having some labor signs. And I said, devil, you've come again. Me, I will not use because of labor. Allow myself not to be in service. It's not possible. I need to be telling, because even if I'm even there, if I can't help her, I can't. In fact, I can't even help her. It is God that is expected to perfect his good work. And I took the babies, drove down to church. I think I was not fortunate to meet our daddy then, but our daddy was traveling that day. So while I was rushing to the airport, I just peeped him and told him that my wife has been in labor for about 2-3 hours now. He said, no problem, she will deliver. And behold, before I could walk from this point to the airport, she called me on phone that she has put to a bouncing baby.
Power! Remember, when he said my wife was in labor for 2-3 hours, I didn't stay in the airport and begin to say, Riba Shakayaba. Lebra Lagada. Stop in the airport, say, hold on, Rika Yababa. No. Don't worry, she will deliver. I continue going. I prophesy to you. After today, you will testify.
And Daddy, when the devil discovered that the battle was already a lost one, he was no longer comfortable. What the devil did was, he didn't want the placenta to come out. And my wife called me again to tell me that the placenta has been staying too long. The placenta is not coming out. I called the doctor straight because he's my friend. And I said, Doc, what's going on? He said, well, he's believing God that the placenta will come out. But then he made a confessional statement. He said, in the next 25 to 30 minutes, that if the placenta is not out, he's becoming scared. When he said that, I was not shaking anyway. But when he now said that, I said, you are becoming scared. Something just ring to my head and say, you've gotten a baby boy, as the prophet has prophesied, and the devil is trying to play a smart one. I now put a call across to Daddy. I said, Daddy, I thank God the testimony is almost perfected now, but then we are having challenges with the placenta. Our Daddy didn't even pray. He didn't say anything. He just said, okay, call your wife. Ask her to tap her stomach 7 times. And as my wife said, okay, she said 30 times. She was the one that did it. My Daddy just gave instruction that I should ask her to tap her stomach.
Tap the stomach
30 times. And as she was counting it, at the 30th time, the placenta just ran out.
Power! Whatever that is holding your testimony shall lose it today.
Daddy,
After delivering the baby boy, the placenta refused to come. Because I told him, I said, she will deliver, don't worry. He put to bed. And the enemy thought I was traveling. And if I travel, something, no way. Whatever you desire, every good thing you desire, you are going home with them today. In Jesus' name. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So as you tap the stomach, the placenta jump out.
Yes, Daddy.
And the doctor said he was getting.
I was even calling doctor. Doctor, you should come and check. When they put me on a hot drip, the doctor refused to say, no, madam, just relax. When it's time, I will come and check. I was just calling doctor. Nobody answered me. But immediately when I tapped my stomach the 30th time, the placenta just come out. And doctor just come from nowhere.
Power! Viewers all over the world, wherever you are watching from, are you in need of a baby boy? Carry your David. Carry your Samuel. You must carry your Samuel. In the name of Jesus. You must carry your David. In the name of Jesus. You are free. You